Can you
Okay.
oh, recording in progress. So we ready to go.
What'd you say?
We're ready to go now, right?
Oh,
Can you hear me?
yes, let's go.
Okay. So what we'll do is start back off at 1990 with Easy, you know, because there's a lot of questions I like to ask about that too.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Well, we'll kick things off with 1990. Of course, everybody, my name is Kenya Ware. Kenya Ware representing Death Row from the day one. 1990, it started off with me, and my intro to Eazy-E was through his ex-fiance, Tracy. And met Eric. He used to come up to my old job, Nordstrom's, and they would go on these amazing shopping sprees. And then on weekends, I would spend the night at Eric. Eric had this condo up in Woodland Hills, and Tracy and their daughter, who was maybe 1 year old at the time, we would spend weekends there. And Eric was always so super sweet. He was always so super sweet, but he had a womanizing problem. It was crazy. I mean, I felt like every time I was in the car with Tracy, we were on some mission to go and find him and, you know, go after him because he wasn't paying his child support. It was always something Eric was doing. Personally, I liked him, but, you know, that was the first time I seen how males in the industry acted. They had lots of women. And I'm like, wait a minute, they just don't have one girlfriend? She says, no, girl, he got about 8 of them. I'm like, oh, hell no. No. So Eric and that relationship kind of broke off, and it broke off to the sense where my loyalty was still with my girl. So any chance that I got, I was letting Eric have it. So we're gonna move into 1991, 92, where we haven't seen Eric in a long time. I'm over there with Death Row Records, and we're dissing Eric now. Like Eric is he's the enemy number one. He's our enemy now because, you know, Death Row, whatever was going on with Death Row and Snoop, I'm riding with him. That's my crew. So I remember we did the video, and they had a looking like Easy, and they were, you know, they clowned them on that, and it was going back and forth. But Death Row, we were number one. You couldn't touch us at that point.
Yes.
We could do what we want to do on the streets. Who gonna say something? Because if they say something, they got to deal with Big Boy, and Big Boy had my back. That was my boy. So Easy hosted this radio show on with Dominic DePrima. He had Easy Radio. I think it was on K-Day. And I remember Daz, Corrupt, myself, Miss Chalet, DOC. We were probably at Snoop's place, and we called up to the radio station. I'm like, oh, good, we can go up here and diss this fool now. So. And they have audio on it. It's all over the internet. And somebody brought it to my attention last year about it. And I'm like, wow, I went the hell off on him. So we all took turns going off on Eric. And my thing was, you need to get it right with my homegirl, Tracy. What the hell are you doing? You need to get it right. Daz is over there dissing them. Corrupt was on this ear dissing them. Miss Chalet wouldn't say anything in the DOC. They were playing neutral because they used to be signed to Ruthless. So they weren't getting involved in it. But I was riding. I'm riding with my homeboys.
Yes.
You diss them, you're going to diss me too. That's what it was about. So Eric and I, we started off good. But, you know, when he stepped on my girl's toes, he was stepping on my toes too, because I'm down with my loyalties with her. And I'm riding with her. And my loyalties with Death Row. So you mess with them, you messing with me too.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Kenya.
Yeah.
Now, during the time that they were NWA, this at its temple, you guys were basically young teenagers then, huh? That's when you was working for.
Yeah. So basically, we were Eric. But when I met him, I might have been like 19 when I met him, because I was working and going to Cal State Northridge. That was probably my first year at Cal State Northridge. So we were all young. I mean, if we were 19, 20, Eric he was 25 or so. So we were all still young, moving in this realm of things. I mean, you know, even when Death Row Records opened up, we're all young. We're young, you know, and this music thing is new to us. But we knew with him, we moved in and took over. Anywhere we went to, wherever we went to, it was gonna be a problem. But we were the ones that were gonna wipe the problem up. You weren't gonna give us nothing.
Yeah.
And I carried that on my shoulder, like, say something to me, say something.
Yeah, you was down with the crew.
That was down.
Well, you know, Easy started off with his own label first, right? And with everybody else, with Michelet, the whole work, Dr. Dre, and everybody else, you know.
Yeah.
So the relationship went bad at what point and what year?
Well, you know, the 89 was good. 88, 89 was good for NWA because that's when the Gangster, they first start playing them on the radio. Probably in 89, Gangster, they made their debut. So that's when they went from underground to now they're mainstream. So they're a household name now. So 88, 89 is when NWA really, really kicked off. He brought in Jerry Heller, that manager, you know, that overseeing things, but Jerry was stealing, you know. And I remember this is funny. We're all at a concert, 89, and we were in Anaheim, California, and they're on stage. Eazy-E's about to start rocking, and all the gang members are in the audience. I mean, everybody's there. All he's got to say was cruising down the street. And all I see was a bottle going through the air and cracked on someone's head, and it all kind of went crazy. And at that moment, I'm thinking at that point, I'm like 18 then, about 18 years old, 17, 18, somewhere around there. I run to the parking lot. Ren hops off the stage because he's our boy. He had the microphone still in his hand, and we were following him because they gave us tickets to the concert. We get to the I guess to the parking garage, and I got a brand new Jetta. I mean, my parents had given me a brand new car at 16, so I'm ready to go home. Ren was like, can you give me a ride? And I'm like, a ride? Ren, like you guys your song is being played on the radio. You making all this money. What do you mean a ride? He said, I need a ride home. I don't got a car. I'm like, wait a minute. And him and Cube were the top. Besides Dre, and they did not have vehicles.
Wow. That was what, 89?
89.
Right.
I still got the concert stub to the Celebrity Theater concert that night when it happened, and that's the night he did not have a car, and Cube didn't have a car. But they're the most popular people out there on the radio, gangster rappers, and they don't have any money. He's still living in Compton. Cube is still living with his parents on off of Van Wyck. So I'm like, y'all don't have a car? And I gave him a ride home from the concert that got messed up, gave him a ride home. And that was my first time, honestly, that was my first time in Compton, giving him a ride home that night in 89. I had never been to Compton. I'm a LA girl. I'm like, I'm like, that's foreign to me. So yeah, I think once the guys start figuring it out in 90, that, hey, where's the money going? Well, Eric has a brand new Benz, and Dr. Dre is not doing too bad, and Jerry Heller has new Benz. Why don't we have a car? Then they start pacifying them, and then they end up giving Dr. Cube's first car was one of those sidekicks, those Suzuki sidekicks. So they're still in Benzes, but he's in a Suzuki sidekick, and Ren was probably in something a little bit lower than that. Yeah. So Cube was the first one to figure out that, hey man, the books ain't right. They're not right. It's not right. And all hell went, Cube broke off first. He broke off in 90. He said, I'm not signing anything with you guys. I'm going to start my own label. And he got his own thing going over there. He went to, was that Profile? Or I think that was a record label he went to and got his own stuff going off. And all the other guys were still over here. And things progressively got worse because the money still wasn't coming in. Easy was taking all the money. Jerry Heller was messing with the books. And then eventually, Suge was a bodyguard. Everybody needs to know Suge started off as Bobby Brown's bodyguard. And he was so they knew Suge from Compton, but he was the bodyguard for NWA, Bobby Brown. So he approached Dre about starting their own label in DOC. It was the three of them starting something called the Death Row Records, but they needed to finance it. So that's when the lawyer David Kenner introduced them to Harry O, and there was money put up, and they started this record label. And once they got that kicked off, I ran back into him. Me and the same girl, Tracy, ran back into him when after they did the soundtrack 187 with Snoop. They had discovered Snoop from Long Beach, and they got Dre. They did 187, and we could reconnect it with them.
Mm-hmm.
And Suge and I became real tight before Death Row got kicked off. He was like, "You my little sister, and I'm gonna make sure you straight."
Mm-hmm.
And then Snoop comes in and says, "Well, I'm gonna hook you up with my cousin." And my face was, I was like, well, and Daz was still living in Oklahoma. His mother was a minister doing the Bible thing out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So Daz had been out there for years. So I said, Snoop, is your cousin cute like you? He said, yeah, he's cute. I said, he better be.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say months later, we were at some club in the Century City. That might have been in 91. And Daz showed up. And I'm gonna be honest, my daughter's looking at me because that's her dad, but I was mortified. He looked like he just came off the Greyhound bus, and here I am. Me and Tracy, Easy had got her this brand new Acura Legend and Borbet rims, and we had diamonds on. I'm like, what am I gonna do with him? He didn't have a car. He don't have nothing. What? And I was pissed off. So Dr. Dre, that whole evening, he was teasing me. He said, "You got your man now?" I'm like, "I do not have a man with him." I said, "Why you got jokes? I don't want him. He's dirty. How y'all gonna give me the dirtiest boy in the crew?" Really? I was mad. But Dad stayed on me. I did not, I tell people I was not into him, but I figured he just kept on pressing, kept on standing on my toes, kept on calling me, kept on asking me to pick him up, give him a ride. And he kind of just grew on me. But I said, well, if he's going to be around me, I'm going to have to clean him up because we're going to need a haircut. We're going to need some new Nikes and we're going to need some new Levi's. I got to get you looking good if you're going to be around me. I work at Nordstrom. So, when I was working, going to college and they didn't have anything, I was giving Snoop and him $50 here and there because they still didn't have no money. They're still trying to get on. And even when they signed to Death Row, Dad signed for $500 or $5,000. There was no money. They were still hungry. So I tell people I grew with them because there was no money when we came to the table. Everybody was like a starving student. And I was living with my mom still. I was still early 20s, probably just turned 20. And we were still hungry. They were hungrier. I was a, starving student.
Yes.
And we grew together. This Death Row family, we grew together because it was not sugar. When we first got there, we struggled. Me and Dad's first apartment was a bed that came out the wall. And then the second apartment was a 1-bedroom, and the 1-bedroom got destroyed in the 1990. It was the 1993-94 earthquake. So we climbed every level together of not having nothing to having something.
Stardom.
Yeah. And Suge, our relationship to this day, he'll call me to this day, checking, saying, "I'm watching you on Instagram. You're doing good. Just keep people out your way because you know how to move right." And my nickname is Numbers. He named me Numbers back in probably at the beginning of Death Row because he says that I know how to get the money and I know how to find everybody. So I'm Numbers. So everybody like, "What's up, Numbers?" I'm like, and if somebody calls me from a prison, first thing, "What's up, Numbers?" I'm like, "What's up, Papa Bear? What you doing?" So Death Row is an experience. Where do you want to go now?
Okay, let's go to your new show.
Okay.
Mothers of Wives.
Ladies of Death Row.
Okay, yeah, Ladies of Death Row, right?
Yeah. So during the years, I stayed in contact with all the ladies. I was like I'm still the glue to everybody. I'm still Suge Knight's ex-wife Sharitha is still my best friend. She's godson to my 9-year-old. Miss Chalet. It's funny because I'm still connected to Suge. Got a kid by Sharitha. He got a kid by Miss Chalet. But I'm still connected to these ladies because, we started off friends and I'm not going to let what they did come in between. So I selected Vivica Fox, and people don't know that Vivica Fox was married to an artist on Death Row, 6ix9ine. He was a part of this group called 6 Feet Deep. She was married to him. Miss Chalet was with Dre, then she eventually went to Suge. You got Joelle, who was the singer from Compton. You have Lady of Rage, you have myself, you have Corrupt's ex, and I assembled them all together. and I took it to Universal NBC. They loved it. They gave me a shopping agreement to do the Ladies of Death Row Records. The only problem was that people don't know how to shop us, because a lot of people are afraid when you say Death Row Records, they're immediately afraid.
Right.
They don't know what comes behind that. They don't know. I mean, Sugar set a tone in everybody's mouth that, oh my God, if we mess with him, it's going to be a problem. And I assured them, I'm like, Sugar come at all y'all like that, but I'm the one person that he would never, he know he can't. And he knows he won't.
Yeah.
So I move how I want to move. And this is my story. These are my girls. And we sat there with Universal for a year, and then I put it on the back end. I said, let me put it on the back end because I got to revisit them. I still had other projects that were more important to ladies. So, you know, upon doing as you know, the Raymond Washington, ladies has gotten another spark. People are like, every time Death Row Records gets in trouble or somebody does something, people want to let the Ladies Project because they want to hear what these women have to say. And oh boy, they talk. I mean, it's a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot. And we necessarily gonna throw people under the bus. We're not gonna tell you where the bodies are, but we're gonna let you know how where we were. We were the first women to kick this off. We were the first woman living in these $1 million homes off of rap money. You know, we were the first woman to get these ASCAP and BMI checks and travel on first class with your whole crew in Death Row. We rolled together. We're taking up first class. We're taking up the first level of hotels. Suge bought me a brand new Benz off the showroom floor. My first house me and Daz got, I wanted this house. And Marcus Johnson, the old basketball player, his wife, turn that on mute, please, found me and Daz our first house up in Silver Lake. And we bought a house for like $300,000 or $400,000. Back then, we were still kids.
Yeah.
We were still kids then.
Yeah.
So we lived this life, and it just it kind of is weird to see these women these days trying to catch up to what we were doing. You know, I said I got vintage 1990 freaking Fendi. Every bag that these women are just getting in 2021, we've been doing this.
Yes.
So people need to understand how it's rules to this game. And these women I see, they don't understand. They don't understand. We didn't have to get our bodies done. We didn't have to do all that. We were naturally born. We had the money. The boys trusted us with that. We had the D's were in our name. Pink slips was in our name. We lived like that. They don't live like that now.
No.
You know, it was rules. Daz knew stepping to me. I'm from Baldwin Hills, California, Ladera Heights. You didn't come and get me off the slums. So you damn right not gonna put me in those slums. We bought a house. My name was first on the deed, and then him. We come together. You know, and he's still my boy. Yeah. He gets on my nerves, but he's still my boy. And if somebody comes and tells me they're gonna do something to him, it's gonna be a major problem around here. Never.
Yes. Well, you know, I know, you know, because during that time in 1990, I worked with Easy, and I met all you guys for the first time. I even did a couple of videos with you, with Above the Law.
Oh God, Above the Law, yes. Yeah. But Above the Law. By that time, when Easy was kicking over there, I was on the fence with Easy and with Death Row, but I was still loyal to everybody because I didn't want to get in the mix of it, you know? Yeah, me and BG Knockout, that's my boy. He was over there with Ruthless, and I tell you, whenever I call that guy for anything, he's always there. Always. We still one happy family, you guys. We started this gangster shit, and I'm putting my name up in there because I'm a part of history too, you know, and I'm gonna put it up in there. We gotta talk about. I think we need to talk about when Tupac came to the label, because that was the next shift that took Death Row somewhere else. It took it to the next level.
That next level.
Yeah, you know, Tupac was in Rikers Island, and he was doing real bad in there. A lot of bad things were happening to him, and Daz would write him. Daz was the only member from Dog Pound that was writing him, and I would send the letters off. Pac was doing bad in there, and Suge was the only person that would go and get him. Jimmy Iovine, I see him and Dre did that documentary, and he made claims that he put the money up. Jimmy, I love you, but you're a liar. Yeah. You did not put the money up to get Pac out. Suge went up there, and he got him out. Pac was so happy to be out. His second day
All
on
right.
land, me and Daz gave him a hot wing party at our house in Silver Lake Hills, and that's the night that we had a studio at our house, and that's the night where they made that song "I Got My Mind Made Up." That was done in our studio, and that's the song that Tupac eventually used on his album. But it was made for the Dog Pound album, and it had like I think it's Method Man was on there, Corrupt, Rage, Dre, and then another guy from New York. And Pac liked that song, and he actually put it on All Eyes on Me. But it was made in our own home
Wow.
office, and they were sitting on bean bags while they were rapping. And Pac was just, when he came to Death Row, I mean, basically it was probably a rap for everybody else because he was now the king, and
Yeah.
it didn't sit well with nobody. It didn't sit well because Pac was a king. I mean, everybody knew him coming there. Everybody needed to move out the way. I was happy. I'm like, shit. Yes, I
Yeah.
got another Gemini homeboy here.
Yes. Yeah. You were pretty tight. Once he had all the things he went through. I know you was mentioning that he was a revolutionary, not a gangster.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
got caught up.
He got caught up, and he didn't come to death row. People have it so messed up. He was a gang member. He wasn't. He needed help. Suge was the only one that helped him. I mean, just imagine going and being in a prison and being brutalized in prison, and the first person that comes up there that wants to help you, man, you're going to be loyal to them. And he was loyal. He came in and made death row even stronger and even better. You know, and it was just so sad. I mean, we were all out in Vegas when he got killed. I was with him 5 minutes before he got shot, and I'm just like, I still think about that day, how I talked to him. I told him to put on that bulletproof vest. I told him that we cannot, it was rules to the game, and you knew you couldn't leave that. You're not supposed to. Men on death row were never supposed to walk around without bulletproof vests on. It was a no. And that night he got caught slipping. Just because it was bad.
Yes. I like to ask you this. You think he had a death wish? Because most songs that he wrote were about death,
I don't think he had a death wish. I think that death was upon him because he's seen it. He went to prison and he felt like he was going to die in there. And now we know, like, people that rap about that, it actually comes to be. Biggie rapped about dying and it happened. We now know it's not safe to rap about that because you might just be bringing that death angel to your door. And I don't think he had a death wish. I just think that he had seen so many things happen. His first time being shot, friends that turned their back on him, people that said they loved him and robbed him out there. He just didn't know who to trust at this point. So he was living in the realism that if it happened, it was one song he wrote, if it happened, he don't want nobody walking around his casket because all these people are fake. So I just think he drew into the real, what reality was at that point.
Right. Yes. So now that you've been through all of this, it's a lot of years, and those years are part of our generation. And
yeah.
I see the things that you're doing now, and I'm just proud of a woman because I always knew that it was in a woman to do the things that need to be done, as well. So my next question is, where are we going with Death Row? What is there a major comeback?
Death Row is so many, like I told, before Suge went to jail, I asked him, I said, I wanted him to let me shop it because I felt like I'm a woman and I've been in the film industry for a long time. I would have been the one to been able to get in where these guys ain't getting in. And he trusted so many other people to do it. I feel like I'm going to carry on the ladies' part, but it's so many moving parts to the men. I mean, so many people. Snoop wants to do something. Then Harry O's out now. He wants to do something. Suge still wants to do something. I would lean on my Ladies of Death Row, and I want to take it to a series, a television series, because then I can give my perspective on the men's side of it. But it's so many moving parts and so many male egos, and they don't want to trust one person to do it. No one trusts nobody. I don't know where that ends. I know where I'm going.
Right. Yeah.
But Harry O wants to do something. Snoop wants to do something. Suge wants to do something. I mean, you might have 3 or 4 more Death Row movies. But what's going to be accurate? because we want the real deal. Because I worked on Straight Outta Compton. They always, so by trade, you guys, I'm a costume designer. I'm a costumer. Been doing that I did that on Death Row. I used to shop for the boys. I did all their clothing. So I do that in the movie industry. And they called me to do, the executive producer called me to do the Straight Outta Compton movie. And you guys have no idea. It was so many scripts done because they didn't want to write history. Mm-hmm. They wanted to tell it their way. Hollywood. They don't want the real to come out.
Yeah.
So it's not the real. So right. Death Row, what's going to be the real? Mm-hmm. What is it?
Truth.
The ladies is going to be real.
Mm-hmm.
We got stuff to tell. And it's not going to be sugar coated, but we need to get it off our chest too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot to that. That answers my question. So, mm-hmm. The movie thing is what's going on right now with the truth. In other words,
it's important. It's important that when you do television and film, they want that side. We have a side for the ladies. It's compassionate side because we all survived Death Row Records.
Mm-hmm.
When I ran into Dre after not seeing him, we were on a Straight Outta Compton set, and the first thing he said to me was, "Kenya, we made it." Mm-hmm. I said, "What do you mean, Dre?" He said, "We lived. We're still here. We made it off of Death Row." He said, "You know how many people didn't make it off of Death Row?" Mm-hmm. And it didn't occur to me. I'm like, "No, Dre, you're doing beats." He said, "No, we made it." Mm-hmm. So I sit back and analyze that we made it off of Death Row because our young eyes were around a lot of stuff. We've seen a lot of craziness. We have stuff that pops in my brain to this day, like, oh my God, damn. I got stories of hiding under tables when full blow fights are going in place, and you're like, oh my God, we made it out alive.
Right.
So, for me, the truth could help some people. Mm-hmm. You don't have to. I'm not gonna. Sugar's my boy, and he's looked out for me. So of course I'm gonna say, yeah, he pissed on people, he did this, but I'm not gonna throw him under the bus to that extent, saying he's the devil, because he's not the devil to me. Mm-hmm. Everybody else maybe, but he's not the devil to me. He's my friend who made some crazy mistakes, but he's still human. Mm-hmm. And the next man's made mistakes too. So, we all have to, I would love to have a Death Row camp come together, but the men can't meet. Who's going to meet at the middle? Because everybody wants to be the boss. Mm-hmm. Who? So I figure, I figure if my, with the Crip thing, actually the Raymond Washington thing and the thing that you're getting down with us, that's going to open up the door for Death Row, whether you like, it or not.
Right.
It's opening up the doors because Raymond's story, it coincides, even though Death Row was gangster and this was the beginning of it. So it's opening up the door for something bigger. Mm-hmm. And as a woman, they let me in a little bit more. They the industry, they know me. They rooting for me. And we're going to get this out there. We're going to get both stories out there. And then once these are out there, then the calls are going to start coming in. Can you help me? Can you come and get this? I'll probably get the call to do the Death Row movie after that.
Yeah.
Trust me, I will. So the Raymond and Pookie and all them, we're leading the pack because y'all started this. Mm-hmm. These guys emulated what y'all started. They just didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know how to bounce that ball. Y'all knew how to really deal with the gangsterism. They didn't. They didn't know whether to be musicians or gangsters. Okay, let's combine the two.
Right.
Well, if you're a real gangster, you know how to do it. It's an art to it. But if you're just a studio one, then it is what it is. Wow. But Pookie, you have to give yourself a pat on the back because in the music business, they needed you. They needed you to come in and save the day. They didn't know what they were doing. Mm-hmm. So everything coexists together. I think that everything that we're doing is going to all come together, and the bigger picture is being revealed every day. I see it every day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's coming to fruition.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I want you to meet my party here, my gentleman here. They out of Kansas City.
Hi, guys.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, how y'all doing? Kansas City friends?
All right, nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, and this is T Jones here. T Jones is the one that we send you the tracks to.
Oh my God, yes. Your music is great.
Mhm.
I was listening to that and I'm like, you know, the new talent, you guys, that's what's going to get us, you know, the new talent kind of giving the face for what we're doing, like the Raymond Project, because that's my next thing. I want to do a soundtrack for that. I want to do even for the documentary and the series. And I want good music that comes all the way around everywhere, because Crip is everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere. I mean, it's not just LA, it branched off. So I want good music, you know?
Yes, ma'am.
But you're a talented young man.
Thank you.
Very talented. And I love your hair too. That's nice. Okay, you the ladies will be like, oh my God.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and here is T. This is my neighbor here. He's the talented technician. You know.
Hi T. They got the Zoom going, huh?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Mr. Techman, how you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta build on this, you guys.
Yeah. And this is Rodney, and this is my main man. This is the man that's got me out here going to Juneteenth and everything. Kansas City boy.
A little Black Power going on.
Yeah, you gotta keep it going. Pookie is extremely resourceful. He's smart. The man knows it. I mean, out of everybody I've met, you know, this man knows everything. I was talking to Raymond's mom about you this morning.
Oh, really?
And I said, because I talked to her, she calls me before she goes to bed and at night time, and then when she goes before in the morning time. And she said, Pookie, she said, I remember that name. I remember.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's 90, going on 91 now.
I know it. You went and got her. Yeah.
She's just like Kenya. She says she has dreams about Raymond, and she says, I know that this project is going to be the one that goes, because she said Raymond I keep on feeling him and seeing him, and she said, he been gone for 40 some odd years. She said, I feel him, and something's good is going to come out of this.
Yes, it is.
It's coming, Pookie. You know, and thank you for all, you know, everything that you've done, because you're a part of us now. We all together.
Yes, we all together, and everybody else. Yes, we got the whole big team with us.
Yeah, we got them, and we're gonna make sure that everybody gets their shine, their platform, their food to eat. Everybody's gonna be able to live, you know. And you know, I bring it as a woman. I teach the guys, because I'm around all guys. I'm like, you guys, let me orchestrate this. I said, because everybody's gonna eat. People don't understand it's such enough for everybody.
Yes.
It's such a blanket, and you just have to put it out there. I learned, but Suge and all them shared with me. It was never a limit, anything I ever asked for. So we gonna treat it like the old blacks used to do. We all eat, we all work, we all give each other praise and admiration. We gonna do that.
Yes, ma'am. That's it. Well, I know, you know, I you know, there's nothing you can tell me, you know, because you know, I'm a historian, and it reminds me of all our great Black women, you know, so I know, and I feel that in my heart, and I always have from the beginning, you know, so, and
you know, you're going to be getting calls in a minute from all your friends, the Munsons and the Batmans, because they're going to be, you know, they going to need that platform, and Pookie got the platform.
Yes.
It's over. It's a wrap now, no more.
Yes. Well, I'm glad we did this. You're the first one. You know, and we're going to continue on doing more and more and more. Like you said, we got a long way to go and a lot of time to do it in.
Yeah, well, you just let me know, because if we got to do a part 2 and get in depth on Mr. Knight or whoever, but we gonna shine the light on everybody. Let's do it. I'm here for you, because you stuck with me now, so anything you can do about it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna let you go, and thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, guys. Nice meeting you, fellas.
All right, likewise.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's it.
Boy, you did. You know, my life thing, you know.